So Gen Z is aging like milk, and we're going to talk about it. So a recent piece came out, an interest piece. This is not scientific research by any means, but it's still very interesting. So the piece essentially said that Generation Z, compared to the other generations that came before them, is aging absolutely horribly. For some reason, if you look at the average Gen Z versus the average millennial, you think that the Gen Z is way older than the millennial. And what is happening? Gen Z is really taking a lot of L's these days, and this is not one. So the article goes on to postulate different reasons as to why skincare, Botox too early, fillers, all of that stuff. Those are all manifesting on the outside as rapid aging. But what do we know about our face and our skin and our body? What we see on the outside is really just a reflection of what's on the inside. And I'm not talking about whether or not you're a good person. Who cares? I'm talking about nutritionally, what you eat. It's going to affect the outside, your skin. So what that article doesn't go over is all of the nutrition events that were happening when this Gen Z was coming up, when they were being raised, their formative developmental years, when they're most sensitive than any other generation to changes in their environment because their cells are turning over more quickly than the rest of us. 3 key nutritional events were going on in the background that likely promoted accelerated aging. It affected all of society, but because, like I said, Gen Z was going through their formative years, it affected them the most because they were most sensitive to changes in their nutrition. Number 1, the first thing that happened is there was a huge boom in milk alternatives. I don't really want to go into dairy. It's very controversial. Many people believe it to be inflammatory, and yes, it is inflammatory if you have a milk allergy or lactose intolerance. But for the general population who can tolerate milk, it's a great source of nutrients. Anyways, my point is less about whether or not people are drinking cow's milk and more about what they're substituting that for. And there was a huge boom when Gen Z was growing up. They're still growing up, but when they were very young, when you should be relying on a pure cow's milk and not these milk alternatives, there was a huge boom in milk alternatives. And I use milk alternatives lightly because they're really not milk. There's some exceptions, but for the most part, milk alternatives are no comparison to cow's milk. Like I said, there's some exceptions, but for the most part, a lot of milk alternatives are just sugar-sweetened beverages in disguise. So instead of getting all the vitamins, minerals, and protein that's found in milk, which helps with your connective tissues, not just your bones, but your skin, instead of getting that, people are choosing milk alternatives because dairy has been demonized, and the milk alternatives are really just syrups, added sugars, sweeteners, in some cases dyes, but a lot of stabilizers and gums and artificial and natural flavors. When you compare that to cow's milk, there's no comparison. It's going to be pro-inflammatory in the body. Not only are you missing out on all of those essential vitamins and minerals, and yes, a lot of milk alternatives are fortified, but a lot of them have all the other stuff that I just explained. So you really need to read nutrition facts. I always say that. But that's a huge thing that was going on when Gen Z was growing up. They were switching from cow's milk to milk alternatives, which are, again, just sugar-sweetened beverages in disguise for the most part. And they're very expensive, so how are people affording milk these days? That's a huge thing that's likely impacting accelerated aging. What do we know about aging? Aging is really down to when your cells divide. Are they maintaining their integrity? Are they becoming damaged in the new environment? Are they still the same that they were before in their previous life? What is going on? And if you're raising new cells in an inflammatory environment, that's going to accelerate aging because it's more likely that those cells, I'm not saying that your cells are all being damaged, but it's more likely in that environment that the integrity of cell structures is going to be at risk. So there's one nutrition event that occurred. The second is the rise in Uber Eats and DoorDash. This has affected everybody, but gone are the days when if you were in elementary school, in high school, you had to have your driver's license. If on your lunch break, you were going to go to fast food. If your high school isn't located next to any kind of fast food joint, then you had to have your license to go there. But gone are the days. A kid can order any fast food that they want in the period before lunch. The bell rings, their Uber Eats driver is there delivering their fast food. It's never been easier to get fast food. And parents can order their kids in elementary school lunches if they hadn't packed their lunch. You don't need to pack a lunch anymore. You don't have to have your driver's license. You can just get Uber Eats as a high schooler whenever you want. Fast food is pro-inflammatory. Again, anything that's going to increase inflammatory in the body, you're predisposing your cells to age quicker. Lastly, the third thing in the nutritional environment that likely has promoted accelerated aging in Gen Z is the health halo of snack foods. Millennials in that article were deemed the wellness generation, which I love. But when we were growing up, I say we because I'm a millennial. When we were growing up, the shift to the wellness era that started was from moving from processed foods to whole foods. But now what we're getting is marketing and companies have played with our minds. Now what we're seeing is we're shifting from whole foods and putting them back into processed foods to market that food item, that snack, as being healthy. So just because things are keto, gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free, all of the frees, it becomes, in our minds, a healthy product that's a substitute for whole fruits and vegetables, because the whole fruits and vegetables are now processed in that packaged item. So we're eating more packaged foods, but we think we're eating more whole foods. The bottom line is we need to eat pure whole fruits and vegetables to get the skins, the color pigment. That's where you're getting a lot of the antioxidants. And when you process food items, apply heat to vitamin C, you're going to lose some vitamin C. That's just a fact. Lots of antioxidants are affected by food processing. And we know that vitamin C is important to forming collagen, which is pivotal to looking youthful. So now we're shifting more to packaged food items, again, just because they're marketed as using whole food ingredients. At the end of the day, a cookie is still a cookie, whether it's high protein, gluten-free, keto, it's still a cookie. Cookies are great, but I'm just saying, don't be fooled. So I think a lot of us are being a little bit, marketing really got the best of us, not us, of Gen Z. So those are the three key things that are going on in the background that's maybe potentially accelerating the aging that we see in Gen Z. So that's my take. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys at the next video. Comment down below your thoughts. I'd love to hear them. Bye, guys.